Go behind the bars of Wentworth Season 3. Brought to you by Holden.
That episode 11 is so much about Joan Ferguson's kind of scrambling and not being completely in control of her own strategies. She has to confront the notion that things are slipping through her fingers in episode 11, and she doesn't cope with it particularly well, I don't think.
In episode 11, Bea uses her newfound alliance with Fletch to drive a wedge between Vera and Ferguson. It's part of her strategy of death by 1,000 cuts. Vera finally realises the kind of woman that she's treated as a mentor and starts to see the dark heart there. And there's a magnificent sequence between Vera and Ferguson when Ferguson slaps her. It's wonderful. They both love doing that scene.
Vera starts to lose faith and moves over to the other side, and suddenly Joan finds herself, of her own making, ganged up on. That alliance is totally broken. The only thing to do is to cut ties completely, which she does in that scene where she publicly in front of the staff demotes Vera and outs her as being an infected person. I think at the time, assuming that will put the kibosh on any of Vera's plans for, succession as governor.
She suspects it's Lucy that has either done it, or at least Lucy's blood that was in the syringe that infected her. And then this culminated in a scene at the top of the stairs with a wheelchair when she debates whether she's going to toss her down the stairs. Lucy ends up going down the stairs, but of her own means, not by Vera. There's a magnificent scene near the end of the episode where Fletch follows Ferguson, and we finally realise that the fencing master is in fact the ghost of her father, and we're starting to see inside her mind and get a sense of how far she's unravelled.
In hindsight, all of those interactions with the fencing master were in her imagination or in her head. I've always imagined that in a way that whatever it is, her father was clearly very important to her, and that's her way of carrying him with her through her life. And she's got a complicated and complex and conflicted relationship with that voice that sits inside her, her father's voice, that cannot leave her alone. But she relies on it as well to keep her on the straight and narrow, to keep her focused and to keep that single-mindedness. And I think that it's no accident that as she starts to struggle under the burden of the challenges that come, particularly through the later episodes of season 3, that voice starts to get more irritating and more, she starts to fight with it and grapple with it because it's telling her to do things that she no longer feels quite stable enough to be able to kind of do. She's so intent on perfection, and clearly her father's voice was a voice of perfection and striving for perfection.